Shalom, Shalom, Yasharahla. All right, first and foremost, I'd like to give all thanks, glory, honor, and praise to the supreme power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kodash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and salutation to all the Akim out there doing the works in sincerity and truth. Shalom to the hopefully elect. Shalom to the few sisters watching and learning. Stay strong and remain humble. This is the brother Kazawan from the GMS Bahamas camp. Back at you with a lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Lord's willing, the lesson be edifying and serve its purpose, which is to help build the spiritual tabernacle of King David. As you know, we're in the last two major prophecies. These are beautiful times that we're in. Okay, we're seeing these things pop off dynamically. Okay, and you know we have to basically attack. All right, we basically attack these things with tenaciousness. Okay, all right, holding fast, all right, to the word of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai in these last times, because it's going to be a lot of trying times coming. All right, and we know the last two major prophecies is the mandatory implementation, all right, of that charagma, the RFID, micro CHIP, the charagma the Bible speaks of, all right, the MOTB, and World War III. And as we can see, the charagma is rearing its face, all right, more prevalent as we go on, all right. It's here, all right. It's here. It's soon reaching neck of the woods, all right. It's soon reaching neck of the woods. So for those of them saying, well, that's happening over there, once it don't happen over here, it ain't gonna be none of that. All right, the charagma is going to be a necessity to be able to survive, all right, in worldly society, in the world society. All right, this is the way that the world is going. All right, and it ain't going to be no ifs, ands, or buts. If you're going to take it, you're going to have to take it if you want to have any access to your finances, if you want to have access to major health care, if you want to have access to your identification, it's going to be pivotal. All right, so I have a video, and it's going to come in major in different ways. All right, it's going to come in the guise of finance, it's going to come in the guise of healthcare, it's going to come in the guise of traveling, it's going to come in the guise of business, it's going to come in the guise of anywhere, cryptocurrency, digital currency, okay, sportswear, technology. All right, you know this devil crafty. All right, but this devil is only out for you so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos. Don't worry about the rest of these heathen nations. They can take this. All right, the Most High Power Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai can deal with them in their way, but their main target, all right, is you so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos. All right, the real Israel, the real house of Israel. All right, just the crafty counsel that they have towards you. All right. All right. Well, here I have a video I'm gonna play pertaining to a new variation of that charagma. All right. But this one is gonna be in the medical guys, the guys of medicine or pharmakia, or as we would call it, their witchcraft. All right. In terms of them trying to be like the Most High Power Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai by making the blind see again. So they're saying if you take this charagma, all right, this biometrical subdermal, all right, you will be able to see. Even if you were born blind, all right, they're going to make you see again. But we know, all right, we're not ignorant of this devil's devices. All right. But I can play the video and get some precepts and try and drive my point home. Lord's willing, the lesson be edifying.
And our next story is about Elon Musk. He has said that his company Neuralink will restore blind person's sight with a new brain chip by the end of this year. You heard that right. Musk says that his company Neuralink has planned on implanting its new brain chip called Blind Sight into a human patient for the first time in late 2025. Now, here's why this matters. Neuralink is working quietly on Musk's most advanced technologies, brain chips. The company, in fact, is working on a brain chip that could potentially restore full sight for someone who is completely blind. It has already conducted animal tests and it has been doing clinical trials since 2024. Musk's announcement will be the first major step towards widespread usage of Neuralink. During an event in Wisconsin, Musk said that animal trials for the new brain chip had been successful. He said that the monkeys with the implant were healthy. According to Musk, the animal trials showed great promise, as a result of which they are hoping to do first device implant for a human this year itself. And if successful, it would be huge. We're talking about giving someone who is completely blind eyes to see the world. According to Musk, it will start off low resolution, but over time, with use, the implant will enable vision that, in his words, is superhuman. Now, it seems his company is already moving towards trademark. Musk's statement coming in a few days after Neuralink filed for trademarks for the term blind sight. But that's not all. Neuralink has also filed trademarks for the words telepathy and telekinesis. The first Neuralink brain implant was carried out last year itself, in January 2024. 3 patients were given what Neuralink likes to call telepathic control over body parts that they previously had been unable to move due to disabilities. Neuralink is yet to specify a timeline for the rollout of the blindsight chip, but just to be sure, several rounds of testing of the technology will be done before this new technology becomes widely accessible for use. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WeOn app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
All right. So there you have it. All right. The damn devil is at it again. Trying to say that he can make the blind see, thinking that he's the most high power Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. This is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 4. It says, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called power or that is worshipped, so that he as power sitteth in the temple of power, showing himself that he is God. All right, and that's the mindset of the so-called white man, that pride. All right, that pride that they have in thinking, all right, that they are on power or head to head with the Most High power Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, not knowing that it's the Most High that gave them that knowledge, all right, to do these things. All this to bring in 2/3 of our people, all right, to take this charagma, because we know that we have in every family, all right, we have someone that has an ailment or an impairment, all right, that the family would like to get fixed, all right, or they might have the funds or the means to get it fixed. So you think they ain't going to rush their family to take that, all right? This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 9. It reads, even him who is coming is after the waking of Satan, all right? Satan being the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, that'll be the so-called white man, all right? It says, even him who is coming is after the waking of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. And who that is? That's the so-called white man, Esau Edom, all right? Well, you also have Moab, all right, and all them other nations, all right, in this, all right? But Esau Edom, Elon Musk, all right, is basically spearheading the charge. You understand? Let me get this in the book of Revelations. All right, the 13th chapter. All right, this charagma ain't gain. All right, this charagma is coming. All right, this charagma is here. All right, for those of the spiritual eyes have to see through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, Revelation 13 and 18 reads, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from the heavens on the earth in the sight of men. And we already know, all right, that them scientists, all right, them smiths, that the Most High power Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai call them, all right. We already know that they already mastered nuclear and atomic energy, all right, nuclear and atomic weapons, all right. We saw it in Nagasaki, Japan in the 1970s, and they still suffering ramifications to that today, but that ain't the point I want to get. The point is in verse 14. It reads, and deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast. All right, I think that's what those miracles, all right, making the blind see again, all right, paraplegic, making a paraplegic walk, all right, using a mouse and using the cursor of a mouse, all right, by brain control, basically what they call it, telepathy, all right. So these are the miracles that they're gonna freak our people out with to go and run and take that damn Karagma. But we know the elect of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is gonna stand firm, all right, in that day. All right. That's how the Most High Power Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is gonna separate the sheep from the goat. All right. Most High ain't playing. This the time for this is now. We living in some beautiful times right now. You know what I mean? We live in some beautiful times right now. The Most High Power Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is just making himself known. All right. All these things were written before time, were written for our learning. All right. And we have to capitalize on it. Roughly paraphrasing. This is the book of Revelations 12 and 12. It reads, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." The physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, the devil, the Bible speaks of the so-called white man, is in overdrive right now. All right, he's going to get those who are going to willfully take it first, and then he's going to come after those that are going to rebel against it. All right, devils being the elect. All right, the elect of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, some of us are going to be martyred. Some of us are going to be thrown into prison. Some of us are going to be persecuted and victimized for it. But we have to stand ready. All right, we have to be at the ready for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, this is the book of Revelation chapter 3 and 10. It reads, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." All right, and like I said, this is going to be mandatorily implemented. Everybody's going to have to take this. The baby coming out of the womb is going to have to take that karagma. All right, the baby to the breast, straight down to the old woman and old man to with the gray hairs, no matter how old he is. All right, in order to maintain the society, you're going to have to take that. All right, this is the book of Revelations 13 and 16. All right, it reads, "And he calls it all means all." All right, like I say, from the baby fresh out of the womb, straight down to the old woman and man with the gray hairs. "And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and born, to receive that karagma in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he had that karagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." You're not going to be able to buy or sell. You're not going to be able to function in society. You're not going to be able to do anything. All right, you're going to be at a standstill. But those of us who believe in the Most High Power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, knows that the Most High is going to provide for us according to the book of Isaiah, the 65th chapter. All right, the Lord is going to provide for us in those days. All right, we have to stand firm and trust and believe on that. Yeah, it may be rough, or yeah, we may have a rough couple of days or a couple of weeks. All right, where we just get minimal, but guess what? The Lord will provide in the end. Right, that's why you have to have your faith. You have to build up your faith now in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Verse 18. It reads, "Here is wisdom. Let him that had understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. You want to be connected to the Internet of Things. All right. Psi Sigma. All right. You're going to be connected to the Internet of Things. You're going to be known as by your barcode or by your number. They just type that or punch that into the Internet of Things, and they just send whatever programming they want to send to you. They send that, be it a stomachache, all right, be it diarrhea, all right, be it a heart ailment, whatever. You're gonna have you digitally programmed to that. All right. Here's the ramifications for taking that karagma. All right, reads Revelations 14 and 9 reads, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receiveth the mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture, that being without mercy, into the cup of his indignation," indignation meaning righteous anger. "And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb." All right. When Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach comes back, you're either going to get burnt to the cinch by those thermonuclear missiles, all right, by the thermonuclear fire, or by laser beam technologies from the chariots, all right, but you ain't going to make it, all right, all for turning your back on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, all for bowing to the beast system, all for taking that karagma. So don't take that karagma, all right, repent, come back to Yahweh, but Hashem Yahweh Shai, well, God's mercy is still open unto you. Alright, Lord's willing, this lesson was edifying and served this purpose. Sister Brother Carson, one closing out. But before I close it, I'd like to give all thanks, glory, honor, and praise to the supreme power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukaha Kadash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutation to all the sincere brothers Odell. Alright. Shalom to the few sisters watching and learning. Stay strong, remain humble. Mr. Brother Carson, one closing out. Till we meet again. Shalom, Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharahla.